The Pacquiao-Mayweather situation. You represent Pacquiao.
Yes.
And it's the one fight everybody wants.
Right.
The one fight in the sport that everybody wants. Is it going to happen?
Let me tell you, and you know, I have emails I can show you from this morning. Everybody involved, whether it's the head of CBS, Les Moonves, who's been great throughout this, you know, owns Showtime, whether it's Richard Plepler, the head of HBO, wanted that fight like you do because they're fans. They want that fight to happen. As far as Pacquiao, his side, including myself, we've signed off on every point. We negotiated this for a few weeks, and we agreed to everything. So the lawyers are now exchanging papers. But push comes to shove, there was one guy that's going to kibosh everything, and that's Floyd Mayweather.
Why would he do it? He's set to make a lot of money. I mean, he can make, how much money can Mayweather make on this fight?
Probably around $150 million.
So why would he put the kibosh on it?
Because it's not about the money. It's about, he is obsessed with not losing. And
so it's about his legacy, is what you're saying?
Well, it's not a legacy.
No?
Because he knows not fighting Pacquiao taints his legacy. He's not stupid. But he's afraid to lose because and I know I promoted him for over 10 years. He doesn't like to fight, doesn't want to fight southpaws, and certainly not fast southpaws who can punch. The worst possible opponent that he could face is Manny Pacquiao. And Pacquiao knows that, and Mayweather knows that.
All right, now, I'm sure you've heard this. On the internet yesterday, somebody who represents Mayweather, Ariza, is blaming you for not being able to pull off this fight. He says there's one person who's keeping this fight from happening, it's you. Here's your rebuttal time.
Well, first of all, Ariza hasn't been part of negotiations. Secondly, he doesn't know how the negotiations have progressed. He doesn't want to know that Pacquiao and Top Rank have agreed to everything, and as far as we're concerned, it's a done deal. He is reaching out because I think he knows from Mayweather that Mayweather isn't going to do the fight. So now they have to look for a scapegoat. And the scapegoat is the promoter on the other side, Bob Arum. But they'll have to encounter Les Moonves, the head of CBS, Richard Plepler, the head of HBO, to know that we have done everything within our power to get this thing done. And it is done. So the fact that he's blamed me is some asinine strategy on his part that will be picked up by certain websites that are really beholden to Floyd Mayweather.
What would be worse for Mayweather's legacy? If he didn't have the fight at all, or if he fought Pacquiao and lost?
I think what would be worse if he didn't have the fight at all, because if somebody sat down and explained it to him, Floyd, the worst thing that can happen to you if you fight Pacquiao is you're going to lose. But you're a man, you'll give him a good fight, you'll stand up to him, and you'll end up with $150 million. That ain't bad. Now you can walk away and not fight him, and people, when you're long since retired and your hair has turned to gray, people will say to you, why didn't you fight Pacquiao? And what is he going to say? Because Bob Arum. Bob Arum what? I only tried to make the fight happen for the last 5 years.
You know what's different about what's going on now and what went on when you first got into the business in the mid-'60s, right?
Yeah.
Fighters didn't turn down fights, did they? They took on all comers. Ali took on all comers. Frazier, Foreman, Larry Holmes, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson. They took on anybody who wanted to fight them, right?
That is absolutely correct. I mean, look at, I did 7 out of the 9 fights that the great group of 4, Duran, Leonard, Hagler, and Hearns had. And it was relatively easy to make those fights. Yeah, there were little arguments about percentages and money, but those were solved within a few days. There was never any question about one fighter not wanting to fight the other. All these guys had such egos that they wanted to fight. Hagler wanted to fight Hearns, and he wanted to fight Duran.
But to be the best, you had to beat the
best. And Duran wanted to fight everybody.
Yeah.
This is something that is totally, totally strange. Totally strange. And it really, really, you can't blame all fighters. You can blame one guy, and that's Mayweather. Mayweather's the guy who stands in the way, I think, of doing the best fights in order to preserve that record of being undefeated.
But as things stand today, as far as you're concerned, you and Manny Pacquiao, you are ready to go at it on May 2nd.
We've agreed to every single point, every single point. And it wasn't easy because they moved the percentages on us. They moved the various elements of the deal, who would be announced as the champion, who would go in second, that kind of stuff. And we agreed and acceded to all of those points. They wanted the fight to be billed promoted by Mayweather Promotions and Top Rank. Well, Mayweather Promotions hasn't promoted anything, but I said, fine. If that's what it'll take, it's okay with me.
All right. Well, let's hope it comes off.
Well, I think people can help it come off.
How so? How can our viewers and listeners help it come off?
I think they can really help. They've listened to what I said now, and they should get on the internet and besiege Mayweather with just these words: sign the contract. Sign the contract. That's all they've got to say. I mean, and if Mayweather gets an uprising by millions of fans who want to see this fight, I think even Mayweather will have to retreat from this nonsense and agree to the fight.